Welcome to Mrigashira, a podcast that communicates with communicators. Is brought to you in association with Digitales. I'm Radha Krishnan. Let's begin. The communication industry has undergone a massive metamorphosis in the last 5 years, especially during the pandemic. The proliferation of social and digital media has made it even more imperative that leaders and managers understand the behavior of millennials, understand their needs and career objectives. It's here that reverse mentoring plays a crucial role. Nakul Ghai, an integrated communications professional, talks about the need for reverse mentoring and how it helps today's leaders. Listening. Hi Nakul, welcome to Mrigashira. With millennials, do you see the PR industry undergoing a dramatic change in how the leadership role is being cast?
Hi Radha, I have a slightly different perspective on this, and I can probably explain it to you in two parts. I think PR, by the virtue of its function, I think it has undergone a massive metamorphosis, especially in the past 4-5 years. And I think it's partly due to the pandemic, and it's also because of the increasing penetration of the digital and social media. So with this, what has happened, I think traditionally or for the longest time, PR was seen as something which is, which results in coverage, print coverage to be specific across CAT publications. But if you look at PR today, it's very wide. I mean, it includes influencer marketing, it includes advocacy efforts, you have reputation management, crisis communication, so on and so forth. So I think the scope for creativity, the scope for new and refreshing ideas and strategic thinking has only increased manifold. And I think it is right here where millennials come into the picture, because they're young, they're vibrant, they're full of vigor, and they have passion and new ideas. So basically, they have a potential to do things differently. And because of this, I also feel that, millennials or the concept of reverse mentoring has started to happen. So now millennials are teaching leaders or, are helping their leaders to actually catching up with new technologies, new platforms, new ideas. And I think seeing the pace at which millennials and their leadership is growing, I think this is only bound to grow in future.
One of the interesting things you said, Nakul, is about reverse mentoring. When it comes to leadership, one of the key characteristics people talk about is good relationship. And how does a leader and a millennial leader develop a good rapport and relationship? What kind of insights you have here?
Sure, I think that's a very interesting question. Radha, I feel that, primarily we all are humans. And so by the virtue of our nature, I think we are driven by emotions. So I think not just, the relationship between a millennial or a leader, I think the key to any good relationship is humility and respect. So, and I think as long as you are being respectful and as long as you are humble, I think half the battle is won. So I think you are able to establish then like a good rapport with whosoever you want to establish it with. And this also somehow brings me to comment on the client agency relationship, because I think that is also something which sits at the core of what we do in PR and communications. I think most often than not, a lot of times, in fact, clients look at their agencies as subordinates and not as partners in growth. And I think that's not the right way to look at it, because I have been somebody who has been on the agency side as well, and now I'm on the brand side. And I think the reason why I have flourished or I have grown so much in this industry is also because of the respect, support, and acknowledgement that I had received from my clients. And now when I'm on the brand side, I think I like to give it back to whoever I work with. And considering all these facets, I feel that, the best key, to maintain like a good rapport is genuinely being humble, being respectful, and being true to yourself. I think that's the key, according to me.
But how easy or how difficult it is to do all this when you're on the agency side?
I think, a lot of times agency people feel, and this is basis my personal experience, that, they don't have a right to put their opinion across the table. But I think that's not how it is. If they are being rational, if they have a research, or if they have, if they have research and if they have, some corroborating data to support whatever they are saying, or to, support the suggestion that they are making, the clients are more than happy to, take it. So I think it's only the fear, and I think mostly I think agency people feel that they are not at par with the clients, but I think that's also where the fallacy lies. I think when both the parties, like both the clients and agencies, when they start working as partners, I think this challenge can very easily be defeated. That's what I feel.
That's interesting. And last year, AdFactors PR had announced constituting a millennial board, a 16-member shadow board of directors, comprising of millennials under
Yes.
30 years to support its senior leadership, right? How do you see this development, and how do you think this helps in grooming leadership?
It's a step in the right direction. And when I read that news, I was quite happy to see that. It's good. I think that organizations across the board are recognizing the potential of millennials and their leadership. I think it's very important for organizations to empower the millennials to make and take critical decisions, because at the end of the day, they are passing on the baton to future leaders. I also feel that this is one of the right ways to actually reap true benefits of India's demographic dividend where we stand today. So, because I'm a big advocate of millennial leadership, I genuinely am very happy to see this. And I think more and more organizations should take such initiatives, because it's only going to empower the millennial leadership, which is quite the need of the hour.
When it comes to reverse mentoring, what are some of the things that millennial leaders or millennial mentors, so to speak, should keep in mind?
I think there are 2-3 things that millennials should, keep in mind while they are, on the path to take on leadership. I think firstly, they should never try to compete with their seniors. Rather, they should try to learn from their seniors. I think most often than not, what happened that, millennials get into that trap where they start, competing with their seniors, and they start, proving a point. But I think that's not the right way to, look at things. I think they should rather focus on, learning from their seniors, because they have they have more experience than them. And I think after taking that learnings, they should observe and take best practices from it, and then chart their own path. So I think that's the right way to look at this. Second thing I think which millennials should keep in mind is that they should never take any feedback to their heart. I think they should know that whatever feedback is going to come their way, it's only going to improve them for future. It's only going to help them in future. So they should not really take any kind of feedback to their heart, and they should look at things constructively, and and work around it. Yeah.
What kind of an atmosphere can an organization create to be able to foster a culture like this, of reverse mentoring?
I think it's very easy. I think I think leaders should be very much receptive, and they should encourage more millennials to speak up and to take on bigger responsibilities. I think when they do that, they are empowering the leaders, and they're also building confidence in the young leaders that they are capable, and they can take up bigger roles if need be. I think second thing, India has already, I think, started embracing that culture, because if you look at the atmosphere today, we have, and in the last years, I think India has been leading the race of startups. So, and, these startups are being led by millennials. So I have already seen that happening. And I think I'm already seeing that happening where, organizations are genuinely, and leaders are promoting millennial leadership. And I think the right way to foster this kind of a culture is just to pass on the baton to the young leaders, and also at the same time nurture them and groom them in the right way, so that, and to basically pass on the best learnings from their experiences to these millennials, so that they can really learn from it. Yeah.
How do you inculcate a culture like this across the board that it almost becomes like a norm?
I think at an organization level, several steps could be taken. I think like AdFactors did, I think a board of sorts can be created to actually begin with. I think a board of sorts can be created where you are actually giving an opportunity to millennials to show, what they're capable of, and to basically dabble with different kind of things. I think secondly, what could be done, I think when it comes to hiring, I think you can give more and more important roles and critical functions to these millennials. Maybe, and it could start with on a project to project basis. Firstly, you are giving a project to like gauge the kind of strength that a candidate has, and then accordingly, maybe you can, divide the responsibilities. So I think all these things can happen at an organization level to actually promote this kind of a culture.
One last question, Nakul. What are some of the pitfalls do you see in reverse mentoring?
I don't really see any pitfalls in reverse mentoring because, I genuinely believe in the fact that, you can learn from anywhere and at any point in time. I think lifelong learning is something that I really, believe in. And I think so, I genuinely don't see any pitfall in terms of, reverse mentoring or, millennials taking the lead. But like you said, I think there is a line to be drawn, and there is a process to be followed. If you are sticking to that process, if you know what you are doing, and if you are being true to yourself, I think then I don't really see any challenge or any pitfall like that.
Great. Thanks a lot, Nakul. Thanks for talking to Mrugashira, and it's great to have you on our show.
Thank you, Radha. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for your time.
Hope you enjoy listening to Mrugashira, a podcast for communication folks. Do share your suggestions and feedback on mrugashira@digitales.co.in. Have a great week ahead and do not forget to tune in next week. Adios.